You're walking to your car at night. The lot is empty. Your keys are between your fingers before you even decide to put them there. Your heart speeds up. Your eyes scan the shadows. Something ancient just woke up inside you. You'd probably say you're afraid of a stranger, a mugger, a predator in the human sense. But the real answer is far stranger. That alarm system in your chest is hundreds of thousands of years old. And for most of the time it's been running, the thing it was built to detect wasn't a person at all. It was a leopard. For millions of years, your ancestors weren't the animal at the top of the food chain. They were food. Small, slow, and armed with nothing but sticks and stones, early hominids lived on the same landscape as lions, hyenas, saber-toothed cats, and giant eagles. And every single one of those animals saw them as dinner. This isn't a guess. It's written directly into the bones. In the 1920s, a fossil skull was discovered in South Africa. Scientists called it the Tongue Child, the remains of a young Australopithecus who died nearly 3 million years ago. For decades, nobody could explain the strange puncture marks on its skull. Then researchers Lee Berger and Ron Clark took a closer look. The marks matched the talons of a large bird of prey. An eagle hadn't just killed this child, it had carried the body up into the air first. Think about that for a second. Your ancestors weren't just hunted on the ground, they were hunted from the sky. And it didn't stop there. Anthropologists Robert Sussman and Donna Hart spent years compiling evidence from fossil sites across Africa, and their conclusion reshaped how we think about human origins. In their research, later published as Man the Hunted, they argued that predation wasn't a rare danger for early humans. It was a constant, defining pressure. Bones bearing tooth marks from leopards, skulls with puncture wounds that match hyena jaws, caves that weren't shelters at all, but dens, where predators dragged hominid remains to eat in peace. For millions of years, the question wasn't whether you'd encounter a predator. It was when. So what do you do when you're weak, slow, and hunted by nearly everything around you? You don't get faster. You don't grow claws. You do something stranger. You start paying attention to each other. Early humans who survived weren't the strongest individuals. They were the ones embedded in groups. A lone hominid on the savannah was a meal waiting to happen. A group of 40, watching in every direction, sharing the burden of vigilance, was something else entirely. Safety stopped being a matter of muscle. It became a matter of numbers. This is where your nervous system was built. Not in a world of occasional danger, but in a world of near constant threat, where survival depended on scanning your surroundings and trusting the people beside you. That hypervigilance you feel in a dark parking lot? It's not a glitch. It's an inheritance. But here's the twist nobody expects. As humans got better at defending against animal predators, something else took their place. And it was far more dangerous than any leopard. Once early, humans developed fire, sharpened tools, and coordinated hunting. The big cats and hyenas stopped being the main threat. Predation numbers dropped. Skeletal evidence of animal attacks became rarer over time. Humans had, in a sense, won that war. And then they turned on each other. Anthropologist Richard Wrangham has spent decades studying violence in both primates and early human societies, and his research points to an unsettling pattern. Once external predators stopped being the primary danger, competition between human groups intensified. Territory, resources, mates. The threats that once came from claws and fangs increasingly came from other bands of humans. Archaeological sites tell the story in silence. Skeletons with embedded arrowheads. Mass graves with signs of coordinated violence, long before written history, long before anything we'd call civilization. The most dangerous predator on Earth had stopped being an animal. It had become us. Does that sound bleak? Maybe. But it explains something strange about the way you move through the modern world. You don't lie awake worrying about lions anymore. There are no leopards stalking your apartment complex. And yet the alarm system built to detect them never got the memo. It just found a new target. Other people. Strangers. Anyone unfamiliar in an unfamiliar place at an unfamiliar hour. That's why a dark parking lot feels dangerous, even when the crime statistics say it probably isn't. That's why you tense up when a stranger walks too closely behind you on an empty street. Your brain isn't responding to today's actual risks. It's running software written for a world of eagles and leopards, now aimed at the closest available substitute. And there's something else your ancestors passed down, something less obvious. Trust. The same evolutionary pressure that made you wary of strangers also made you deeply, almost desperately, loyal to your group. Because a group was survival. Being cast out, alone, on a landscape full of predators was close to a death sentence. That's why isolation still feels unbearable to you today, even though nothing outside your door is actually hunting you. Loneliness isn't just an emotion, it's an alarm, inherited from a time when being alone genuinely meant you were prey. So the most dangerous animal humans ever faced wasn't really one animal at all. It started as leopards in the dark, and eagles overhead, and hyenas circling the edges of camp. It ended as us, as each other. as the fear of the unfamiliar person walking a little too close behind you. The claws disappeared a long time ago. The alarm never did. You're walking to your car at night. The lot is empty. Your keys are between your fingers before you even decide to put them there. And somewhere behind that instinct, 3 million years of being hunted are still very quietly awake.